Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Mike is going to be the one carrying most of this podcast today,
Hopefully.
mostly due to the reason of what you can hear in your headset or just on your screen alone. That being said, we are going to be talking about Gen V, the latest trailer or the only trailer. We will then talk about
First
um,
trailer.
the book, um, Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos? No, Reign of Chaos? No,
Nope. Well, you were close. You were almost there. Chaos Rising.
Chaos Rising. And then we're going to be talking about the season finale of The Last of Us and a character spotlight from me, which may or may not be related to a new show that's coming out on Disney Plus this month.
Is it Ironheart?
You're going to have to wait and see.
Oh shucks. Um. All right. So Gen V trailer. That trailer was absolutely incredible. When I sent it to you, and I'm like, I know he's gonna. I'm like, I sent it to you, and I'm like, he's gonna see this, but because it we're recording tomorrow, I want to make sure that he sees it, just because there's those few times where, like, I knew you were had a lot going on this week, so I'm like, I want to make sure he watches it. And
So I watched it twice.
me too.
No, no, so meaning like I watched it when you sent it or whenever I responded to you.
Yep.
That's when I watched it. And then I literally just watched it before recording.
Me too. I wanted to make sure I remembered like all the minute details, because
As much as I could.
I'm like, there was so much that we saw in this, and I said it to you. I'm like, all the worries that I had about this season absolutely gone. Like, I didn't know how they were going to handle the passing of the actor. I'm blanking on the character name and the actor. So I apologize, but like, I was worried about how they were going to handle it, because, like we said, it would be in poor taste to kill him off, but they had said that they weren't going to. So how are they going to do it? And clearly, they're going to have an arc with his dad, about like what happened to him. So
Yeah, it sounds like my assumption is he's going to be dead.
yeah, he's dead.
Or, or, this is the other thought I had. He's being used to create so like he's alive, but not really.
The
No,
only
no, no, you know what I'm saying? No,
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 meaning
yeah,
like,
the only reason I wouldn't go that route is because then you would have to somehow, you'd still have to kill him off, and then
that's true.
then you run the risk of being able to encounter him in the story, and then you would have to recast him, and they said that they wouldn't recast him.
No, no, no. So I had the thought of like almost like
Like,
Doctor Doom esque, like they needed the mask to keep him alive,
okay, oh, that could work.
just enough to keep his powers going. And
Yeah.
this is a maybe. This isn't a definite, obviously.
This is a fan theory that you came up with. Yeah, there's no
No,
support for it whatsoever. Just, yeah.
no, but I'm curious only because the way they were acting, like they were just trying to sweep it under the rug type of thing in the trailer,
Oh yeah,
to be fair.
yeah.
So I'm very curious. I mean, we're definitely going to know what happens to him by the end of the season, without a
Mhm.
doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's going to be one of the earlier things that pop up in actuality, like especially with the father getting involved. So, like I said, right in the trailers, like, what happened to my son. Then showing like the flashbacks of him, or not really flashbacks, but holding the photo of him as a baby, crying, and then freaking out and saying he's going to burn the school to the ground.
That messed with me. That one, that got me excited also.
Oh yeah, like, everything is just like, just them coming right back into it, and like, oh, thank you for letting me return. Thank you for giving me another opportunity, and uh,
And he's like, "You're you're like
you
one
want to
blink
rip my
away.
face off."
You're one blink away of ripping my face off with your teeth."
Yeah, it was like
Question:
right off the rip, just want to get us right into it.
does the new Dean look like somebody we've met before?
I was
I
about to
couldn't
say
tell.
that. Like, I was about to ask if we've seen him before, because he looked and sound familiar, and with the way he was acting, it's like we should know him, but I don't recognize him.
No, I'm gonna look that up because like, I know he's from something that I've already seen,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't know if he's from the boys universe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, while you're looking that up, we saw all the other cast members returning from season one. They are all in prison for the most part, and it seems like it's going to be like the dean had said. I'm going to be training you to become soldiers, and it looks like they're kind of doing like a fight club kind of thing, which would be kind of insane. A fight club with powers would that would end very badly, especially with some of these powers that these kids have.
Well, yeah, we saw fireworks, we saw fire, and we saw what else did we see?
We saw a lot of blood.
Well, yeah, but that was Marie.
Uh-huh. We saw her extending blood balls coming off a hitch of a trailer. A hitch of a truck trailer. Which I was just like, I'm so confused, but I'm so
No,
interested.
I think you're misunderstanding it. It I think somebody I think somebody was like hit on it and there was blood on it and then she used that blood to then use as a weapon.
Oh, okay. Though
Because he looked like he was already bleeding
no, it
and
did,
she
it did. So like what I was going at was that she blood bended his balls off and it hit the truck and then just proceeded to make go back and hit them back.
Oh.
That's
Oh.
that's actually how I originally was like,
Well, it's
oh
funny because the truck also had metal balls.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
no, I did. That's why I thought it was just like,
So he's a brand new character.
oh, he is okay.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, obviously, but I mean, eh, I'm only stating like, oops,
He's a new character introduced to the boys universe. We've not had any interaction with him before.
correct, which does make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, but like you said, he seems familiar, so it's like, huh. But we like I said,
That's where I knew him from. He was also in the Cape Crusader as who?
oh, um,
Sorry, you continue. I apologize.
no, I mean just a classic.
He's Batman.
Oh,
He's Batman.
oh, okay.
I had to stop everything for that one
That was a reaction. That was a
because that
reaction
was
and a
that was
half.
that was not what I was expecting. I was expecting any of the other characters, not Batman.
That was a great reaction.
And now I
Um,
know why he sounded so familiar.
that's true. Yeah. Um, but yeah, we got like I said, just classic college going through. Just I loved at the end with the shrinking girl. I forget her name.
Oh, beer
Uh,
pong.
yeah, the beer pong. But no, I was like, oh, what sophomore year recording the video, and Marie is just like, oh, it's gonna be lit, and just it's blood everywhere. It's like, yep, that just defines the boys universe so well.
I'm curious as how they're going to, because in the media they're the bad guys.
Yep.
Those three.
And then Sam and forget her name. Uh, the one that can make you
Ellis,
forget.
Allie,
No, I.
Jen, Jessica. No, none of those are ringing a bell.
But they're the heroes, and when she's coming in, when she opened the door and she's like, "Hey," like,
And I just loved the shrinking girl being like, "Oh hell no." I know
she
exactly what
was
you
used
said.
more colorful language, but
I'm curious how they're going to make it media-wise on allowing them back in, but it sounded like, based on what we saw, they were in a rehabilitation
yep.
center,
Hmm.
which would mean that they're now reformed.
Cat,
Yeah. Um.
don't do
Yeah.
that.
No.
No. um,
No.
swear. No, but September 17th of this year, cannot wait to see what more they're going to show us up until leading up to that, because obviously this is not going to be the only trailer we get.
In true boys fashion, 3 episode premiere,
Yep.
which
uh
I don't have a problem with.
8
I think,
episodes, I believe.
which has been the consistency of it all.
Huh.
It's been the consistency of it all. Like all their
Oh yeah.
shows have been the same.
Yeah.
I think
um
Diabolical was the only one that had more, and that I don't count.
that one was all the episodes at once, so
No, I know that's what I mean.
yeah. I
Um,
forgot about Diabolical. Oh wow.
it was so good,
No, it
so
was.
good.
Well, very much so. But yeah, no, can't wait. Can't wait to see what else we see. Like I said,
We got just enough to get us excited.
yeah, I put all our put like I said,
Any
put my
any
fears to rest.
honestly, every concern that I had is now gone. Oh, we forgot to mention one thing. The Deep is gonna be playing a role in this
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah. He made a little
He,
appearance.
I'm gonna take a guess. Fraternity.
That yeah, sounds very much like him.
To be fair, I'm not. I don't even think I'm like slightly wrong because the hood and everything else he had on, the cloak.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's gonna be in some weird little fraternity that
And he's gonna try to get with the college girls because he's a pedo.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what we
extra
should
young.
call him because he also likes sea animals.
I'm sure there's some kind of animal.
I know, but is it still bestiality if it's ocean creatures? I'm assuming so, right? Or is there another name? I don't want to look it up just in case.
I literally was like, I like was looking at my phone. I was like, we have the technology. I'm like, I don't want to have the technology here.
I literally went like this. It went
I saw that. I'm like, we both had
just
the exact same thought.
at the same time. It was just like we do know we could look it up, and we both don't want to.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. Let's move on before we dig any deeper. So, um, we read
It's
the first Thrawn book.
it's funny you said deep.
I realized what I said after. I'm like, oh no. So, first Thrawn book of the Thrawn Ascendancy of the Chiss people. What did you think? And I know you said you had some questions for me.
So I like the idea. So there was many things, right? I like the kind of we get like a bigger hint of like what their society is like, which
Hmm.
I do like. It's the families, and then it's like the weird. Like I thought it was kind of awkward that it's like the surface is fake and everything
Hmm.
kind of happens underneath. Um, but it didn't ruin anything. I also like the the way they described the Force
Yeah.
because it wasn't the Force; it was the presence. No, the perception. No,
So for the Chiss, it's third sight.
no, no, no. They used another. No, when they
And
described it,
for the oh my god, what's his name? The other the space navigators. It was the Great Presence.
great presence. That's what I was
Um,
thinking. I couldn't think of it. No,
but
no. I
that
knew it
but
was like
for the Chiss, it's the third
the
sight.
third sight.
Yeah. Um, kill. Oh my god. Oh shoot. What was his name?
Oh no! Don't ask me anybody's names
I
because
know you're not gonna get them. I
I
know
was
that.
no, but it was like I'm reading it. I'm like I don't even think I could even like try.
I'm sitting here. I'm listening to it. So obviously I have a little bit of a
Whatever, you
cheat,
do.
but I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, Scott's going through the ringer right now.
I actually had to. So I couldn't get an audiobook.
Yeah.
Because I after starting, I was like, I think I probably should, so I know who's kind of talking.
Yeah.
Only because it made it difficult to like know 100. Like I knew what was going on, but I didn't know everyone's like if their name was very similar, it was very hard.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, I mean,
Oh, okay. There we go. We went so quiet right here.
I know. I'm sorry.
So did you? So did you? I don't know if you remember, but when I had mentioned about how Chaos Rising was a fitting name for the book, uh, I made the joke. I was like, "Oh, okay, because Thrawn is chaos." But did you understand why it is titled Chaos Rising overall?
Isn't it just because of like the Empire coming in, or am I incorrect on that?
I mean, they call the outer space. They call it
The chaos.
the chaos,
Chaos. Sorry.
and and then obviously because of all the enemies joining forces and whatnot, uh, chaos is rising. There's an upright of rebellion, and then obviously Thrawn being Thrawn, he's a thorn in everybody's side for his people.
But I also, the one thing I will say about Thrawn though is we get to see him, weirdly enough, like the way he was able to, like, so they were at the museum.
Yep,
Well, the closest thing to a museum I would assume.
it's an art museum. Yeah, or a historical museum that
Yeah.
has art.
And him going through it like it's, oh, and this is what they looked like, this is what they believed in, and this is what they stood for, and this is how you could easily defeat them. And I'm like,
The people who are listening to it and not actually watching this, it's like Scott's reaction is just rapid blinking, because it's like you could picture you're going through an art museum with Thrawn and he's just rambling and rambling and rambling, and your response is going to be just blank face, rapid eye blinking.
but I find it interesting because he understands art but doesn't understand politics.
Hmm.
And I just find it to be hilarious because we see him normally with his great strength of analyzing a battlefield, understanding his opponent. Granted, however it is, whether it's through the arts, but in general, he knows his enemies. He makes sure he knows his enemies
Yep.
before doing anything. However, when it comes to like politics and how his people kind of do things, he doesn't quite get it. And I find that to be, hear me out on this. I think it's more the fact of like, I shouldn't say he doesn't, I feel like he doesn't understand it because it's not logical.
Yeah, it's he is very, as we saw even from the younger age. It's like he doesn't understand the importance of the little like niche things of, like, for when he got picked up. It's like, oh, I hope this test doesn't take too long because my teachers are going to be displeased that I'm missing class for 2 days. It's like, you don't understand that you could be adopted into a really important family to boost your life, and you're
He
worried
didn't
about
care.
school.
Nobody didn't care. And again, I don't think it's, I think it's just like he didn't understand it. And I don't know if it's understanding or if he just thought it was pointless.
I mean, it's one of those. I mean, even in our society, you don't. There are people that don't pick up social cues, and I mean, politics is very social cue. Whereas if you're in battle, it's like, okay, these are what's going to happen. You know the person's personality for the most part, so this is the logical outcomes.
The other thing, though, I do have to say is, although we kind of knew this, we don't see like Thrawn build himself up as like, hear me out when I say this, as like making himself smart. He just is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I find that to be interesting because it's like normally we see like people who are now like the best of the best. They had to start off as like the weakest, and
Mhm.
he's never been.
Except for one instance,
Yes.
and because of that one instance, he took a his confidence got shot. So it's he everyone else knows how great he is, except for the two syndics that want to bring him down.
Mm.
Um, Everyone else knows how good he is, and it's like, dude, you just like, it's fine. Like, you're Thrawn, you're the reason why we're here, and and but then he's like, well, yeah, but then this happened, so I don't know if you can really rely on me anymore. And it's like, no, we still can. It was one mistake. Everyone makes a mistake.
Yeah, but I also think you make a good point there because like to him, it was the ultimate failure because to everyone else, oh, he's only made one mistake.
And to him, that's the end of the world.
But to him, he did nothing different than he's ever done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's the other factor that I think nobody else can understand but him in the sense of in that universe.
Hmm.
To him, it's like I've always done the same thing. It's never not worked. It didn't work this time. Clearly, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
I
um
either missed something, or you know what I'm saying, or I don't understand like I thought I did.
yeah, and even still, I don't remember when it was mentioned. If it might have been in like one of the next two books, or it might have been in the Empire side of the Thrawn books. But it was like, Thrawn always makes the best decision with all of the knowledge that he has. if you don't, if you don't share all the knowledge, if you don't give Thrawn all the information he needs, then he will make mistakes because he's not as knowledgeable. But then if he has all the information, then there's no one that's better because it just with everybody, if you're missing important details, you're going to make mistakes. So it's not fair on him to then get brought down for other people not doing their job.
Yeah, but I also think like he just takes it as a full responsibility for himself
Oh, it is.
because
Yeah.
he's the one in charge. He's making the decisions, and he feels like he needs to do what he needs to do.
Mhm.
Here's my question though, because I need this answered. Was the term Skywalker existed in the previous trilogy?
Yes, it was mentioned. Yes, because he made a comment to Vader saying,
Correct.
"Notice
No, correct.
my yeah." He's like, "Notice my how surprised I was when Anakin Skywalker showed up and you know did what he did." Um, but yeah, no, I know you had mentioned. I've read this book a couple of times or listened to it a couple of times.
This is from so I tried looking up a bunch like what other people thought about this book. After I read it because I
Mhm.
was like, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just I felt like I was like there was so much.
I feel like I'll be honest. When I was going through it, I'm like, I feel like you're not going to like it because it has a lot of flashbacks, and I know how you feel about that stuff.
No. I felt like so for me, it worked with the story because the flashbacks went along with the story.
It
In the se-
explained what was going on at that moment, kind of. Yeah.
yeah. So I think I felt less of like, oh my god, there's so many flashbacks to the point where we're briefly telling the story to get you to understand what's going to happen next.
Mm. Well, I can tell you for the next two books, it's going to be a similar setup where
Okay.
we're going to get him in this current timeline, and then we're going to get him in the past. Um, but there's Thalius, who is the caretaker for Cheery, who is the Skywalker um, of his ship. Aralani, which I think I don't know if you remember her from the Empire side of the story. She was the one who showed up to help Thrawn with the Grisk when he went to Batu. Which, by the way, I don't know if you remember Batu from before because they mentioned it. We did have that scene.
Wait, was Batu?
It was on the edge of lesser space, quote unquote lesser space. To this, it
No,
was
no, it
when
was only in the book, right? It wasn't in a show.
yeah, no, it was in the book. It was in the
All
book.
right, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do math in my head.
no, that's because she was in the Empire side of the Thrawn books.
Sorry. Yes.
Uh, she showed up, and that's when they were. That's who the aide for at the end of the last book. Uh,
It's been
the
so long, I don't think I remember fully.
no, I understand that it's been probably close to a year at this point.
Might have been even
Excuse me.
longer because oh no, we probably did it in May,
It was before Ahsoka.
which I believe was in June, wasn't it? Or was it like, or did it come out in May?
No, you know what? It might have been 2 years now at this point, to be honest, because I was still in the apartment when Ahsoka came out.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah, because that was in our 2023
Yeah, because I
year
remember.
review. Yep,
Yeah, because that was like the last time we had a break.
yep. Oh, it's been a busy 2024. Wow.
No,
um,
seriously, I honestly would have said the same thing. No, it's only been a year. No, you're right.
yeah, it's been close to 2. Wow. Okay, that's actually crazy. So yeah, I don't expect you to remember any of this. That's not
August
fair.
2023.
Yeah. So 2 years. That's wow. Okay.
Wow. August to October, but still.
Either way, we read these
No, no,
before then.
yeah, no. I know, I know.
Um, but
That's awful.
hey, these 5 years after COVID, it's like it feels it's the time is non-existent.
I mean, I agree with you. But anyway, sorry,
but
continue.
Yeah, no. Anyway, what's his name? The guy in charge of the Death Star.
Oh,
He was just in Andor.
mhm.
Anyways, it's late. We're both tired.
Hold on.
You're
Pull
gonna
that
look
up.
him up.
Yep.
Director of the Death Star. Let's see who's gonna.
Seriously? You're not gonna say you? I literally have his
Krennic.
Krennic. I literally got his actor name, not his
But
character
not
name.
him. That's funny. Anyways, the aide to Krennic, he ended up going with Aralani. Thrawn gave him the ultimatum that if either I rat you out to Vader, that you're not a fan of the Emperor, or you go and help my people and try to fight off the risks. Um, but anyways, like I said, it's been 2 years, so that's a lot for you to expect you to remember that with all that we've been through.
No, correct. Like I remember bits and pieces, like the important pieces of like how he kind of boosted himself up,
Yeah,
but in the ranks of the Empire, because he was already a high-ranking officer in his empire already by the time the Empire came over. So we knew nothing really else.
yeah. For me, if I remember correctly, because I haven't listened to these, and I haven't listened to them since last year, so it's been a little bit of time. But if I remember correctly, I believe each book I got more and more invested in it, and the third book is my favorite out of the three. So I am looking forward to having your opinions on it, seeing what you think. Um, but obviously, we learn more about Thrawn and the Chiss people and their enemies, and obviously, at the end of the book, we have a new enemy that showed up who's actually in charge of or the I guess the boss of the of the other people that I'm forgetting on. Oh man,
Oh yes,
Nick Ardoon. Nick Ardoon.
yes.
Oh man, so many names. I read it a couple days ago, and I was like, I need to write all this stuff down so I remember to talk how to talk about this stuff with Scott. I have to remember to do that for the next book so I can take notes. But
No, I definitely need to for the next time too, because it's like there's so much that needs to be discussed, but at the same time, it's like it all blends together.
yeah,
Because
what
like
did
the names are what really throw me off.
the names are tough.
Because it's like, okay, he the like you see underneath Thrawn.
Hmm.
Okay, he's the second in command. All right, and then you
Yeah.
like keep going down and everything else.
Um, Aralani's second in command. I really like her. Um, I think as we go through, I think you'll like her more as well.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to find her name. I looked up a character list, but it's not. Let's see. No. Admiral Aralani, Patriarch Thurfian, Supreme General Bakif, Sistalmu, Thras. No, doesn't show all the names. All right. Well, anyways, what did you think of the trials for Thalias when she outsmarted the Syndic in order to get out of exposing Thrawn?
What was that again?
I was trying to do it. The caretaker for the Skywalker,
Yep.
when the Syndic showed up and wanted her to rat out Thrawn before him and the Skywalker went out to space, the two of them, and he showed her how to fly.
Oh yes,
The
yes,
the
yes, yes.
caretaker went to quote unquote rat out Thrawn, but she ended up saying like, "No, I'm going to take the trials to become a trialborn," and then ran into the patriarch of the myth and how he cares about more about propping up, taking risks to boost the family. I just what were your thoughts on it? How'd you take that, or if you remember it?
Well, no, my big thing is I focused more on the, and again, it was one of those things where like Thrawn teaching her how to fly,
Hmm.
which I thought was kind of interesting. Granted, obviously it's not her, it's the Skywalker.
Hmm.
I thought that was kind of interesting just because his reasoning for it. although you would have, if it was anybody else, you would have thought romantic. This, meaning like it was like him trying to get to know her and blah
Mm.
blah blah, all that stuff, right? Obviously, with Thrawn, I would say no. But I thought it was kind of cool because the idea of it was so he could do more stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like so it's like so that way you can fly while I go deal with other stuff.
Yeah. There's always a second motive for him.
No, no, there is, but I just thought that was kind of cool because it's like that was unheard of.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Because
Um,
it was definitely something that was frowned upon, but at the same time, it was one of those things where it's like in his mind made the most amount of sense because, duh,
yeah. Yeah.
like
Exactly.
she's the one that's navigating. Wouldn't she be the one that should be flying?
Uh-huh. I like this book too because it shows Thrawn's ability to get loyalty as well, even like to the people that aren't really a fan of him.
Yes.
They still respect him and would some macro, his second in command. Uh, Obviously he's not a fan of him, but it's like, he's my leader. I'm going to follow him. And like some of his things where he's like, this doesn't make any sense, but it's Thrawn, so it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Um, Going off of the romantic thing that you were talking about, um, going back to the art museum, I was listening to it, and when they were talking about when Aralani and Thrawn were like, "Oh, you know what? Let's go back to my place and I'll show you some of my art." And then we can do battle and I'm listening to it. I'm like, I wonder how much fun Scott is having with this scene, just describing everything about how, like, oh, I could show you some of my techniques, and and he's like, oh, should we do stick or hand combat? I'm like, oh, they are balancing on the line so well in this scene right now.
But at the same time, it's like I always took it as like Thrawn like not fully getting it.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like,
So like that's what made it funnier because like I agree with you. Like it's very obvious on what's being discussed. Um, but it's funny because they're having two different conversations in my mind.
they're
Uh,
having the same conversation at the end of the
no,
day, but it's like,
but they're not.
uh,
They're saying the same thing, but they're not talking about the same thing.
I was laughing. I'm like, oh, Scott is going through it.
It was yeah, it was very interesting on that part, but it was like I also like was not even slightly surprised.
What did you think of the Nick Ardoon in general, like as a threat?
I mean, he's a threat. I mean, I didn't think much of him to be honest with you, just because it was kind of what I did it again. It's literally my mic's right there.
Mm-hmm. You need to get one of these,
No,
or you do that.
yeah,
But
but the likelihood of me doing that beforehand is not existent.
nope.
Anyway, but I do agree with you. My next setup, I'll do that. Nick, Nick,
Nick Ardoon.
Nick Ardoon. I mean,
General Yiv the Benevolent is the guy in charge of them.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming he's gonna. I'm assuming he's gonna be playing like a bigger role, but like right now, I did I thought it was kind of like pointless. I mean, I shouldn't say pointless because that's not the right word I want to use. I feel like it's very hard to get somebody to like equal Thrawn.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's
that's
like
the thing is like they knew that they weren't able to compete with the Chiss, and I mean they didn't know who Thrawn was, but he
no, no,
didn't.
that's fair.
Uh, they knew that they couldn't stand up to the Chiss, so they were basically enslaving other nations to be able to stand up to them. Um, oh, actually, what do you think of the Chiss's policy of no engagement unless engaged prior, kind of thing? Like that you can't attack unless attacked.
I find that very interesting.
It's for like a highly technological advanced society, just like, we want to be friends with everybody, but no, mine like so America first. Like
But like, but think about what you just said though. You don't attack anybody unless they've already attacked us.
yeah, yeah.
So like to me, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so we're only gonna fight with people who have threatened us.
Yeah, but even if they threaten you, it doesn't matter unless they actually make like
No,
fire.
no, that's what I mean. Like it's like, sorry,
That was loud.
no, that was loud. Um, my thing was the fact of like to me that actually made their society, in my opinion, better. I know this is weird to say.
Really? Okay.
Well, think about it. They're not just going around like I hate saying it this way, but I think of America like the Empire.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it is. It very much is.
We take everything, we destroy it. We'll make up a story to make it sound better. But the Chiss, on the other hand, they wait until they're attacked, and then they're like, "We're done.
Oh yeah. Oh
We're not gonna start the fight, but we'll be damn well gonna finish it."
yeah. I mean, it's a double. It is a double-edged sword because in like the Leo Aoi, uh, they the nation that became like pirates, they attacked the Chiss because the Nicardun told them to. So Thrawn and Aralani went in and just like wiped them out. So like it shows you their might and how much more advanced they are. But then in terms of like someone like the Nicardun, where like they are a legitimate threat, like if you wait for them to attack, you're not gonna be able to counterattack. So it's like,
Most likely, yeah, you're not.
you know, um, but um, yeah, I mean, there's Kalori, who is the navigator
Yes.
for that little slime bag. He's going to be playing major roles in the next two books. um, then there's
Nick, you
Jigstus.
mean?
Huh?
Nick, you mean?
Nick, you mean?
No, Nick, you mean? Sorry,
Who's Nick?
Nick. Nick Von.
Nick Ardoon?
Yeah. Is that not who you were talking? I know you were talking about the Navigator, but
No, no. Oh, Jigstus.
oh, my apologies.
Jigstus is the guy that showed up at the end of the book. Um, he's the guy that's in charge of the Nick Ardoon, or their master, whatever.
Oh, he's
Um,
the one we're gonna learn more about.
we're going to be learning more about him in the next books.
Understood.
But Kaelori is, like I said, he's the navigator. He's going to be playing more roles, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you go through these next few books. Um,
I mean, I'll say this: this is a storyline, or even if it's not like this is something I'd love them to explore more, and not necessarily with Thrawn. I know that's weird to say,
after after
but
after this
this
next,
part of the universe.
yeah, no, I mean even after this trilogy is over, I'm curious if you're going to be feeling the same way that I feel about how I want them to go more in depth in this. But
Well, the rumor is I heard after the rumor is that they're at least discussing the idea of expanding the universe. So like going to this part of the universe.
oh, if they do that, I would be so happy because, like I
Because
said,
they apparently is it David Finian? No, what's his name?
Dave Filoni.
Thank you. He was talking with the writer of these books.
Oh, okay. Oh, that would be awesome.
So granted it would not be for any time soon,
It'll be a while. Oh yeah.
but at the same time that would be interesting in and of itself
Hmm.
because
Like I said, after you finish these next two books, we'll touch on that again. But I have to say, there's one thing in the next book, book two, that in in the audiobook, at least the way that I listen to it, I don't know if there are other kinds of audiobooks where it changes how they go over it. But there is one scene where there's people eating, and the narrator literally is eating. And I lose my mind every time because I'm like, it's like I legitimately, when it happens, have to take my headphones out and let that part play before I put it back. Like I am furious.
Mike has never actually known what goes on in that scene. That would piss me off.
It pisses me off so much because for me, the books would be 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for that chewing scene.
Which, to be fair, when you write it, it doesn't come off that way.
I would think not.
But it's hilarious that that would be the case. No, I would not. You know how I am with somebody chewing.
Yep. Yeah, no. I'm gonna like put my mic farther away so it's like and you like they make the swallowing noise and I'm like, I hate you so much for doing this. Anyways,
No,
um
so great. Something I can't wait for.
like I said, you don't have to you if you actually read it, you don't have to go through
That is
it.
true. That'd actually be funny for me to be like, all of a sudden, I'm like, I got this information that you never did. It gave me the whole plot of the next book.
Yeah. Oh, this makes so much sense now.
This explains the first book like entirely. I don't know why you didn't understand.
But overall, I hope you enjoyed it.
No, I mean, here's my thing. I love Thrawn. I've said this very much so. He is a character I would love to get to know more. We are obviously. I mean, realistically, there's only one trilogy that isn't canon anymore. However, everything else is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll eventually have you. I'll eventually have you read those too. But
Yeah,
um,
we want to stick with the canon stuff first, and then
mm,
obviously I get that.
yeah,
Um, but no, I thought it was really good. I mean, I didn't hate. Like I said, the format didn't bother me as much as I would have thought it would have. Because if you would have said to me
a lot
before
of
reading it,
flashbacks.
I would have been like, oh, I hate that, and I would have said it. However, I felt like it flowed well enough that I didn't even. It didn't bother me.
Good. All right, I'm glad.
But yeah, so the next book is I gotta look it up, but I'm almost positive I know it.
I actually didn't even.
No, no, because if I look up that book, I can look up the next one in the series, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to. Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy. The next one is Thrawn Ascendancy: The Greater Good.
Ah, the greater good.
So obviously, these books, the titles kind of hint at like the overall like thought of the plot of the book. So
But also vaguely.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because
Um,
yeah, because that's definitely I have to agree with you there. But yeah, so that will be for next week. But for now, let us move on to the season finale of The Last of Us season 2.
mhm.
Well, a lot of things, a lot of things. Um, where do I begin? I want to say so much. Um, the
Overall, first start with, did you like it? Did you not like it?
all right, how do I want to phrase this?
It just made a tougher question for you, apparently.
No, no. So like, I hated it, but in a way that made it good. If you understand what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like I when I say because I didn't want to just say I hated it because then you're gonna be like what? But no, no. It I hated it for all the right reasons.
Hmm.
If you understand what I mean, like the actions that were
Yep,
made, the
yep.
decisions that were made. Like I wasn't happy, but I don't think I was supposed to be happy. Like
Yeah.
it did what it was supposed to do.
Hmm.
Um, what else was I gonna say? The interaction between Ellie and the Asian guy, I forget his name,
Jesse.
Jesse. Thank you. That was incredible. And then him tricking her into telling him his ex is pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that wasn't part of the game.
Him tricking her? No. Him finding out? Yes.
No, I figured he would find out, but I meant like he wouldn't have found out that way.
He had suspicions, but he like
Well, he
basically
clearly did here too.
no, but like in the game, he flat out asked her. He's like, Is she actually pregnant?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, she is. I'm. She's gonna tell you when she's ready, but just give her time."
Okay.
And just like in the show, he didn't get the time.
No, no, he didn't.
When that happened in the game, oh my god, my jaw was on the floor. Just
Dumb question: was the arrow was this episode?
the her
No,
her
no, her getting shot. I know was last episode.
yeah,
I'm talking about the removal.
removal was this episode.
Okay,
Yes.
because I was like I wanted to say it was, but then I was like I'm not confident.
Hmm.
That messed with me. That messed with me.
The arrow.
Um, yeah, because also the fact of like him being like when she's like I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, and he's like she's never said no to
Oh
alcohol
yeah.
ever, so she's clearly pregnant. And then she said I can't die.
Yeah, that no, that one got me. Like her saying her doing that. Absolutely, that was a powerful scene.
Yeah, and then we find out sort of kind of where Allie is.
Ellie,
No,
Abby.
Abby. Sorry, I keep
Like I'm like Abby.
sorry, Abby. Um, and so she figures out or she comes to the conclusion that it must be the carnival.
The carnival. What?
Yeah, the remember it's the whale.
Oh, the aquarium.
Oh, so yeah, but it's isn't it?
There was a Ferris wheel there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we're in the same page. It's just
Yeah.
I thought of it as that.
No, like when you said carnival, I'm thinking like I was thinking of the ending and that you were calling like the ending scene a carnival. So that's why I was like, what?
Love to see the scars. Just pick up Ellie like it's nothing. Although I will say it was kind of like a waste in my opinion. Like that scene felt like it was so wasted.
I've uh, I'm kind of letting you go through before I go through because I can nitpick a lot of stuff,
All right.
and I will admit this one is very because of my game bias. I will 100% admit that.
I just felt like that scene didn't need to be there. Like it gave nothing to us, in my opinion.
So all right, for that scene, that wasn't even Ellie. That happened in the game, but it was Abby. So the fact that they completely changed characters, I just completely pointless.
Well, because when we see the other two idiots,
Yeah, yep.
you know what I'm talking about?
Uh,
When we see them and we hear that I assume that she was captured by the scars.
mhm.
That was my assumption.
Yep.
Obviously, it doesn't sound like again based on how it ended, meaning like how we see her,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't look like that. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't get that thought process then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then Ellie gets captured by them, and I'm like, this girl's gonna die. And then I'm like, how's she gonna get out of it? She's not that skilled right this second. And I'm like, and then literally the whistle blows, and they're like, Saved by the Bell. And I'm like, well, that sucks. Because it like to me, it was like they've never not killed somebody.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Visually,
They
visually, I'll say it that way.
no. No. I was just trying to like because like I said, the way it happened in the game completely. They
Well, yeah, because
completely
it was a different
changed it.
person.
No. Even for the most part, like this entire scene, like the only reason Abby got away in the game was because clickers or the stalking z- zombies showed up and was attacking them. So they were like they left Abby hanging, but she ended up escaping because of outside help. And then the clickers or the sneaky guys ambushed the scars. So it's like they didn't kill someone in the game, but it wasn't because they didn't want to. It was because they had other priorities that literally were imminent. It's not like you said where like the whistle blew and it's like, oh, just leave her. It's fine. Well, she just got away just because they didn't feel like finishing the job. In the game, they literally could not finish the job.
Okay. No, but you understand what I mean. Like it was like it felt like it felt like that scene even needed to be indulged a lot more
It was
of
total.
like what was happening that made them stop.
Yeah, yeah. It was totally unnecessary. Like
No, because
it
it's like if they would have showed any of those creatures, I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
That would
it,
that was
and
my thing. That was it.
no, I mean again. This, like I said, because I have more knowledge because of the game. It's like this just her going towards over there, getting washed up on the island where the scars are, and then getting captured by them. It just like, what was the point of this? Like again, then they're introducing stuff that didn't need to be introduced yet because all of that is part of Abby's story, which is going to be explored in the next season. So
Yes.
now you're taking away part of something that was very important to Abby and just tossing it to Ellie just because you wanted to add time to the final episode.
I'm also going to be a devil's advocate that they we still could be getting that scene
With Ellie, though? Or are you saying, like, to
for
do
Abby.
it with Abby? Feel like that's just, like, then that makes this scene even more pointless.
No, no, I agree with you, but I'm wondering. Hear me out on this, right? I'm playing devil's advocate. They do this scene, right, and we're like, "What the hell's going on?" Season 3, sorry. Um, they go into the scene with Abby. They do it right. We then realize, oh, that whistle is specifically for this. Now we know why she escaped. I'm still not saying it's good because it still wasn't needed, but I'm wondering if they'll do something like that. I still can't justify them doing it, period. However, I'm at least like trying to give them something.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand where you're coming from because
No, I also
you're
haven't played the game.
you haven't played the game, so you're going off of what you've been given.
Correct.
It's just it's hard for me to wrap my head around it because it's just like it was so pointless. Like in actuality, like that scene in general did not add to the episode whatsoever. It just felt like a filler moment. Like, oh, the scars are here and something's happening to them. Like, what? Okay, so what? That's not part of Ellie's story. But, anyways, continue with the rest of the episodes.
So yeah, so her meeting up with those two people um were Abby's friends. That scene messed with me because of the pregnancy.
Hmm.
The one bullet took both of them out, and I'm like, just cut the baby out. Just cut the baby out. I'm not like I want to say it's not hard, but it's like she's already dead.
Yeah.
Like, do it. And
Hmm.
then she just like watched all three die.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, like I like it's just it was one of those things where I was like I was so pissed off because it's like you act like you're the toughest thing on the planet, and it's like you clearly are not. Like, just cut. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying it's not going to traumatize you. Of course it is, but like my thought process would be like, all right, I'll do this. I mean, I can't promise the kid's going to live, but at least I can say I tried.
You tried. Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the
Oh, when she ever said like, "Oh, is he awake? Is, is he healthy?" And I'm like, "You ain't even cut open."
yeah, she won't notice anything. She's already dead.
Yeah, I know. But oh no, that scene messed with me. And then obviously Tommy and
Jesse.
Jesse um come in, and I was just like, wow. But and then the boat thing made me laugh because I'm like, really? But whatever. To me, to be fair though, that is very video game esque. So that bothered me more so in the sense of like I just don't like that trope.
Mm,
But that had nothing to do with them doing it. Like it wasn't specifically, oh, they did this. It's like all that stuff is kind of like there's just randomly a boat there, and then there's randomly another boat when she capsizes.
oh, yeah, right.
So I'm just like, oh, just so happens to be where she capsizes is where the other boat is. But anyway, when we finally get to the oh no, sorry, when we talk to all them and everything else, and then they start to look around, and then the bullets start flying, and we don't know what's going on. And my first thought was, oh my god, the wolves caught him.
Mm,
And then obviously I wasn't wrong, but I also wasn't right because I was not expecting Abby.
yeah.
So apparently, Abby's alive. She killed Jesse, and it looks like Tommy's going to be killed, although he is not yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode ends with a flashback, which is the part that I have to ask you on.
Okay.
I know it's the flashback. I'm not oblivious to that. But when they say day one of what? Of the first game?
No, so like day one of Abby is in Seattle for a certain amount of time, so they are like when she returns after, if I remember correctly, she returns after killing Joel, and they go through this time. So now, basically, what Ellie just went through of going tracking them down, they're showing what Abby went through in
Or
that
what
same
Abby
amount of
was
time.
doing during the time
Yes,
after Joel was killed?
correct.
Okay, because
Not not like the exact, like, not like right after, but
no, when she makes it back to Seattle.
yes,
No, because it threw me off because I'm like day one.
yeah,
Because I'm like, well, no, because it's like in my mind I'm like, it doesn't look like it's day one.
yeah. No, not like way back, but like
Well, no, but you get what I'm saying. Like it just that was a minor detail
if
there.
you go back to the beginning when Ellie and Dina were just beginning their quote unquote hunt. If I
It said day
remember,
one.
yeah, it should have said Seattle day one.
No, it wouldn't have said Seattle.
No, because they that technically is when they begin. Like the real journey is when they make it to Seattle. Like they don't show the whole
Oh,
when they leave Jackson. They don't show the whole travel. They just show us right when they get to Seattle.
okay. They might have, and I just didn't pay attention.
I mean, it's not like something you would have known to pick up on.
No, I just remember them. I remember it saying Seattle, meaning
Mhm.
like not on the sign, but like in the letter. I don't remember day one, but
Yep.
that's neither here nor there.
Because basically, we're showing like the story is a parallel of Abby and Ellie.
Yeah, like everything that happened from them getting to Seattle to where Abby and Ellie are together,
Yep.
we're gonna see Abby's side.
Yep. Now it's Abby's turn. Um. Well, I guess unless you have more things, it's my turn.
I have nothing else.
You have nothing else. You sure? And I'm not trying to be condescending. Okay, you sure?
Well, no, I mean I'm curious at what's gonna happen to the other girl, but I mean like there's nothing really else that like not that nothing else
What?
happened, but like
Dina?
to me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean like I'm assuming we're gonna have to wait to find it. Like it's not gonna be like something I could be like, oh, what's gonna happen to her? Because we really don't even know what's happening to the rest of them yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, no, I didn't have any other problems.
No, no, I wasn't really looking for problems. Just like anything that anything you want. If there was something in particular.
Oh no, the other thing too was like them wanting to have Abby run everything was kind of weird to me.
Oh, well, it's because she's their best soldier. You know.
Yeah, but like I don't know, it was just because we don't again we don't know her
hmm We're gonna see more. So like that's okay. I guess I'm gonna jump in right from that point.
right there. Mike's like I'm ready.
So I think one of my big issues with this
Mike
season,
has more notes on this than he does on the Thrawn books,
it's because it pissed me off so much.
but I'm not wrong.
You are not wrong. So as I you know, I've been saying from I've always been comparing this show to the book to the game, and I was always giving it to the benefit of the doubt. Where it's like, I'm giving it a chance. I want to see how the story plays out. I'm willing to accept the changes as long as it pays off in
It
the end.
works.
Now that we've made it to the end, I don't think it worked at all, and it a lot of the changes that they made really took away from the story overall. And
Can I ask how was it supposed to go in the show in the game?
well, so the part of the issue, like for example, Isaac and the other woman talking about Abby being like, taking over or whatever,
Yep.
that was unnecessary for this part of the story. Like where
That would have been more like next season.
That should have been added into Abby's story if they wanted to include that. Like, we never specifically got Isaac saying like Abby was going to become the next one in charge in the game, which whatever, it's fine. We get that. Um, but a lot of my issues, I think, was that they were so focused this season on just telling the major points that they didn't really care about going into detail to make the story better. They I felt this part of the story was incredibly rushed. And again, I understand this is because I have a bias and I have more knowledge than you do. And
Well, I was gonna
if
say this particular episode felt more rushed, in my
this
opinion.
episode in particular felt really rushed, but and now looking back at the entire season, like they took out so much from Ellie's part of the story that they cut so many characters that were very important. Like in the Jackson group that or the Abby's group that killed Joel, the initial group. Ellie ended up hunting down and like killing 3 more of them in the game, and it was and part of her journey. So it's like we're they skipped over that character development for Ellie and Dina just for the sake of time. And I think part of the issue comes from the fact that like season 1 was fantastic. I loved so many episodes of it. They took the time. It was 9 episodes apparently. If I when I was looking back, apparently it was 9.
For
So
season one, yeah.
so it had more time to tell the story that needed to be told. Whereas this one was only 7. So they're already taking out they're producing a season that was less than the first game but had a lot more to it. And I get it that we still have Abby's part of the story, and now that there's going to be a season 4, we're going to have the finale part, which I finally finished. I finally finished the whole game. I no longer need to worry about spoilers.
Are
Um,
you happy with it? The game?
oh my god, the game was fantastic. It
So Mike's gonna hate the show. Continue.
100%. If they play out season 3 and season 4 the way they played out season 2, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed because it just it was rushed. I did not believe they did the justice explaining these characters, and they changed a lot of characters, and I think they changed them for the worst because in the game, Ellie's Ellie's blind rage made her so unsympathetic that she just had no morals and was like very single-mindedly focused. We got hints of that in this, but overall, this Ellie was very compassionate and very much like, I don't want to kill you. For example, when Abby at the end of this episode shows up and is like, "You killed my friends," and she's like, "I didn't mean to." No, you really did. You were hunting them down because you wanted to kill them, and
Yeah.
now you're like, "I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." Like, no, no.
No, no, you did. I mean, I can understand you didn't want to do it the way you did it. I can agree to that.
The other thing too is when she killed those 2 people. First of all, in the game, it wasn't one shot killed them both, and it was the killing the pregnant one was not an accident. In the game when she killed her, she didn't know she was pregnant,
Oh, but what did she do when she found out? Oh.
but when she found out, she was like devastated,
Oh,
and
all right. So similar, similar.
it's kind of similar.
No,
But
no, I know it wasn't the same, but it was similar.
um but the other like Mel getting killed was very important in that whole arc. And on top, like, so she shoots Owen, and then Mel ends up like fighting with her. They kind of like wrestle, and Ellie stabs her in the throat. And Owen, and after she kills her, she turns around. After Owen's been shot, he's still alive. He's bleeding out. He points at Mel, and then that's when Abby turns around and sees like a bump on her stomach.
Ellie.
Ellie, my apologies. Ellie turns around, sees the bump on her stomach, and she goes and takes off the jacket and sees that she's pregnant, and like she freaks out. Um, I just don't think the emotion was was there from the show versus the game. Again, I get it. Um, whatever the restrictions are, like they didn't have as much time. I feel like they could have gone into a lot more detail if they didn't put that Isaac scene in or put the end with Abby standing out in front of the city in Seattle. Personally, and I know that you will probably disagree with me because you hate cliffhangers.
No, actually, I didn't. What?
I think they should have ended with the black screen, with the gunshot, not with Seattle.
That's fair.
I
I
think that would
thought,
have. I think that would have been so much better.
as weird as it sounds, the flashback actually made me not like it more.
Really? Oh, okay.
Well, no, because hear me out. Like the flashback was like, well, as weird as it sounds, I literally said, "Oh, it's over." I'm like, "Okay, it's over," and then it wasn't, and I'm like, "This means nothing to me."
Okay. I'm glad
Because
that we're
hear me
actually
out.
on the
Like,
same page.
no, we are for this one definitely because I felt like, granted, don't get me wrong. If given the choice, I would have preferred no cliffhanger in general. However,
I mean, I've been telling you from the beginning that this was going to end on a cliffhanger.
no, I know. But
So
what
I've
I'm
been
saying
prepping
is,
you.
no, I understand that. But I think for me, like, it technically didn't end on a cliffhanger.
Now it did
It,
not.
no, I know. But I mean, like, so for me, I'm like, I kind of needed to.
Yeah. This one really it did need to.
Yeah, because like the extra information that we got was literally no point. Like, it was not needed for the finale.
Yeah. Because we already know we're going to be getting more. So it's like,
Yeah, I felt like it was there to kind of be like a promo for season 3,
yeah.
but should have been like an after credit thing, not,
I feel like I mean I feel like this was just so that way it wouldn't end on a sour note.
I guess.
Like I
I guess, but I don't know. It was weird for me. I wasn't a fan of it, and I hate cliffhangers.
yeah. No, and on top of that, like I just like the acting was kind of weird. Like
The very end, yeah.
yeah. So it was
That whole scene with her and Abby was so awkward.
yeah.
And granted, I didn't have a problem with the rest of the scenes. I'll say it that way. In the sense of like acting wise.
Yeah.
But this one was like one where I was like, Ellie's not the strong one, and it looks like Abby is.
Mm-hmm.
And like to me, mentally, I'm like, it shouldn't it be the opposite? Because Abby was always kind of. Now, hear me out. I'm going based on the show, not the
Yep.
game.
Yep.
Abby, although was very much enraged and everything else, she really wasn't like she had a lot of doubts. It felt like visually.
Um I mean, it's kind of tough to say that because we technically only in this show we
We didn't
only
see it
had her
much. I know.
we only had her for two scenes.
And those two scenes were where I felt it. Other
Yeah.
than this one,
Um it's kind of tough and it now this is kind of a big thing because in the game Abby is like jacked. So like she in the game she looks intimidating whereas in this not really. You know, I don't know why they were afraid to pull the trigger with having the actress kind of get buffed up to make her look a little more intimidating. Well,
I
I
will
mean,
say though, I did feel a little bit more of her being violent at the end,
yeah,
but like still not enough.
yeah, um, yeah. I at the end over here, it just kind of like I said, it kind of felt off. Bella Ramsey's acting at the end kind of didn't feel right either. Uh,
I think it was just the interaction between. I don't even
the
think it
the
was the
whole
plot of it. It was the
that whole
interaction.
no, yeah, that whole scene just didn't feel right.
Because no offense, I feel like, and nothing against Tommy, I want him to live, but like, in my mind, if you want to be intimidating, you shoot Tommy like immediately,
Yeah,
meaning like kill him.
yeah,
No
no, yeah,
offense, I'm just
yeah.
because like you only want her, you want her to suffer, so you kill him,
Hmm.
to end his suffering, and then you deal with her.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see more of that come season two. And it's going to be the end of season two because now, obviously, we're going to be playing all of Abby's roles. So, yeah, no, I overall, I'm gonna get like here's like I said, because I played the game, I prefer the game more. I feel like this is just a shell of what the game was. So overall, I'm gonna give this season like a 6 out of 10. I I was just very disappointed when we play the
I'm going 7. But again, that's based on me not
yeah,
playing the game.
you had an advantage to be able to enjoy the show more.
Agreed, and I think that definitely did help. But I do feel like the end and like some of the decisions that they made for somebody who hasn't played the game thought were weird. And
Yeah,
I can only imagine that if they are completely different in the game, then I really don't understand.
yeah. I mean, I think when you play it, you'll understand where I'm coming from, and I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, you shouldn't be enjoying this. Like, obviously, we're going to be taking in media. We like I said, season one, fantastic. That was a proper adaptation. Season two, I don't know what they were doing. Like,
No, and you know what? To be fair, too, it's like who knows? Season 3 might they might fix all the
they
wrongs.
might fix it. It might turn
And
it
so,
around.
like, exactly. So it's like we're not gonna just automatically say it's awful in the
No,
sense of series wise, obviously,
I'm going to give it a shot.
because season 1 was incredible.
Yeah, no, I had there were some things in season one that they took out, but I was like, okay,
But they
nope,
also
not a big
added
deal.
things in season 1 that made better,
They
which was
did.
also interesting too.
There were a couple things in season two that I said that they did that they made it better as well with the flashback scene with Joel. I thought
Yes.
that was great. But we'll have to see. Obviously, yeah, just overall upsetting. I want to point. I just want to include something really quick because I was listening to our past podcast and you had mentioned about how actually this might have been before and it just made me think of it, but you were talking about how the Lilo and Stitch remake had changed things from the original, and you were pissed about how all that stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking about it or listening to it. I'm like, this asshole is sitting here yelling at me about how I'm mad about how they're changing a form of media to quote unquote make it more suitable, and he's giving me flack when I'm sitting here saying, hey, you know what, it's for kids, it's not for you, who knows, we haven't seen it yet, so we can't really judge it. And he's sitting here criticizing me for not accepting changes made from the game to the show.
Yeah, I don't see an issue.
Asshole. I love that as soon as I mention it, I just see the smile on your face. I'm like,
Because
he
I can't deny it.
knows.
I can't deny it. 100%. I will. I will say this. I'm still gonna see it,
Oh yeah, I'll see it too eventually.
but I heard about the ending, and I am going to be very curious on what we both think about the ending.
I haven't heard anything about the ending.
Oh no, I did, and I am very much like, what are they doing?
Okay, I'm
I put it this
curious.
way. I'm gonna say it this way. I can't in any shape or form mentally, like at least the other stuff I can sort of kind of understand of them removing to make it different but also similar.
Mm-hmm.
This piece that they did at the end, if it is true, to be fair, because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen it,
Yep.
if it is exactly what I was told, I can't see a way of them flipping it for a positive.
Okay. Hmm. I'm interested.
Um, Apparently, I'm going to tell you, I don't care.
Okay.
The rumor I hear is Lonnie, no, the sister,
Okay.
gives up Lilo at the end of the movie to pursue marine biology.
What? What? So I was gonna say the one thing I had heard that I was a little disappointed in. I had seen someone posted it on Twitter is that the scene where Lilo is fighting with her sister about giving up Stitch because she was getting ready to throw Stitch out the door, and she throws in her face is like, "Oh, Hana means family, and family means no one's gets left behind." the sister turns around and he's like, well, we did get left behind and you have to deal with it because this is the real world. I'm like, this has to be fake. There's no way that Disney is spinning this into a negative instead of it being a positive about family coming together.
Yeah. So Nani leaves Leela with their neighbor so she can pursue her education.
What? That's wild. I
Yeah. Um. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like that.
no, yeah, yeah,
That one. Like at least all the other stuff we could agree with that like could potentially still work.
yeah.
This one, on the other hand,
That's just totally against the story. The like
oh,
the
Hana
message
means family.
that's just against this whole message of the movie.
Yeah. So anyway,
um, I
but
mean,
yeah.
it's
So
still grossing over $1 billion, which
so it's got to still be good. I mean, I can't imagine it not, but it's just like
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said to you before, parents are going to go to the movies if the kids want to, whether they want to or not.
that's
So,
fair. That's fair. All right, you
but
ready?
anyways, let's proceed to your character spotlight so you can rush that terrible voice of yours.
Thank you. So there's a character that's supposedly going to be in Ironheart. Now, I'm saying it this way because we don't know if this is going to be the actual character. Right now, there's a character who's going to be portrayed by a very famous drag queen. Okay, and right now the only thing that we know about this person is their name, which is Slug. Now, Slug, there is only one person by that name in Marvel right now.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's going to be the exact same person, but based on what I tell you, some of it very well could relate, and then there's other things that you will clearly know does not.
Hmm.
So the guy's name is Ulysses Lugman. Now, in the comics, he's known later as Slug. Why do you think his name is Slug? I'll give you a hint. He was made in 1986. I don't know if that helps.
Is that actually like a gay term, like a gay slang?
No, but I find it funny you went that route because he's based in Miami. But anyway,
Okay. Er, gun related then?
no, no.
The only other thing when I think of slug, maybe slugger, like a. But
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll talk about it.
yeah, go ahead.
Lugman was one of the leading drug lords operating in Miami, Florida, and became known as the Slug due to his obese appearance.
Oh,
He is basically Jabba the Hutt.
all right. I actually would not have went there.
No, so you were going in very good directions. Do not get me wrong. I was very impressed.
Oh,
I
okay.
just didn't know what to do at that point because I was like I like he's not wrong, but like because you were talking about like guns and everything else. So like he deals with guns, but then I was realized no, you mean like a slug, and I'm like no. But anyway,
What?
no, like he works with guns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but anyway,
No, no. Like when like a slug round, like
no,
for.
I no, you're absolutely right. But I took it as like when you said, "Oh, does he deal with guns?" I wanted to automatically say yes, but then I realized that's not why you said it. You said it because it goes with his name.
Oh well, yeah. I assumed that his name had something to do with that.
No, unfortunately not.
No.
No, he's literally fat.
Okay.
So he first came into contact with the heroes Captain America and Nomad. As the two heroes raided Slug's luxury yacht, Nomad was already beginning to use excessive force at this time and blew up the yacht, and it was thought that Slug perished in the explosion. Shockingly, he did not. He first came to Spider Man's attention when the crime fighter intercepted some of Slug's operatives who were attempting to murder a drug pusher named Santos. Spider Man discovered a large supply of cocaine, along with enough evidence to link it to both Slug and a Latvian arms dealer scandal. However, the supply of drugs and evidence were destroyed by the agents of the villainous High Evolutionary, which is such a weird villain to help out a random drug dealer in Miami.
I feel like that just like doesn't go together.
Yeah, but you got to remember it's the 80s. It
That's fair.
depends. Like
Everything goes together.
as much as I agree with you, it's like it's the 80s. So
Marvel wasn't doing too hot in the 80s, wasn't it? That was just before they were getting ready to sell, right?
no, wait until I tell you about how this guy deals with people.
Okay.
Um, no, it's worse. So then he deals with the demon known as Boogeyman, and
Did you
starting
just say
so the
Boogeyman?
Boogeyman, yeah.
The way you said that, it was like.
You can't say Boogeyman without saying it with some style. So the Boogeyman started killing gang members for their crimes. Slug eggs on the demon, but the Boogeyman turns on the man for being. So they're supposed to like work together, but he then turns on the man for being too fat for a man of his class and steals his suit.
Okay.
So even the demon's like, "You're too fat to be this good." Lugman was later pursued by Poison, who ultimately confronted him at his estate but allowed him to live. His next appearance came at the meeting of the underworld crime syndicates, wherein the empire of the fallen kingpin of crime was being divided among the leading criminal powers. The proceedings were broken up by Nomad, Daredevil, and the Punisher. Nomad, who had been sent to assassinate the Slug by factions in the U.S. government. Monroe considered Slug an archenemy and one of his personal failures after their encounters after their encounter years earlier, but was conflicted about being an assassin. When he finally caught up with Slug, Nomad was shocked to find that Lugman didn't even remember him and tried to buy him off while begging for his life. Disgusted, Nomad didn't go through with the assassination. The Slug was apprehended by the heroes, but it is not clear if he was taken into police custody or simply escaped after their departure. Later, Lugman was the target of nomads once again, who had been programmed to kill him by the evil psychiatrist Dr. Faustus. Obviously, Captain America intervened, and Slug again managed an escape. In the ashes of Onslaught, which we've talked about, Lugman and the crime lords of New York City gathered to carve up the city, basically to divide it up between all of them. He sent his two henchmen, Jerry and Squib. I'm sorry, no, Squid. Sorry, Squid. I apologize. To kidnap Ben Urchin, who, when he was investigating the Miami drug trade. Sorry, Ben Urich. I apologize. That was a mistake.
I know him.
You do know him, which is why I was like, wait a minute, that's not who that is. So he was investigating the Miami drug trade. He gave Ben information on the new street drug, which he views as an unhealthy competition. Isn't that always the case?
Mhm.
He was eventually imprisoned on the raft, a high security holding facility, which we already know about. He later broke out of the raft and joined Hood's criminal empire. Okay. He helped
Oh.
them fight the new Avengers and was taken down by Doctor Strange. As Hood's crime syndicates were questioning one of the group of scrolls that had tried to take Madame Mesky, it was discovered that Slug was a scroll in disguise. As a result, the scroll posing as Slug was killed by Hood. The others, wondering when Slug was replaced, those replaced during the secret invasion were found at the end of the battle by Iron Man, as the scrolls had kept their individuals they replaced alive for use in their plans. Spider Man commented that Slug had lost nearly half of his body weight. So when they found him, he was half of what he was, quite literally. During the Dark Regime, the real Slug joined Hood's criminal gang again, and they were sent by Norman Osborn to attack the new Avengers and battled inside the former Hellfire Club. A character that I find to be funny is Moon Knight dealt with him, and Moon Knight confronted him after he was stealing some diamonds and took out his henchman while the Moon God urged him to kill the crime lord, but was squashed into the floor, which I thought would be funny. He's also faced Tigra and Ant Man. And surprisingly, he deals a lot with the Hood. Because the Slug attended a meeting of various villains organized by the Wizard to discuss what to do about Doctor Doom, who had unexpectedly decided to become a superhero and become the new Iron Man.
Mm.
As the Hood brought up the idea of forming a gang of villains to take Doom out, Doom suddenly appeared and took down all the villains present. Lugman later, Lugman later participated in an ambush against Doom, along with many other villains that Doom had earlier defeated, before joining Hood's gang once more in a ransacking of Castle Doom in search of Doom's fortune. So, one thing we didn't talk about, because I didn't want to until later. One of the ways he kills his enemies is suffocating them or crushing them in his fat folds.
Scott, is that the kind? Is that the flavor of fat you want to be?
It's the ultimate flavor of fat. So, his abilities are surprisingly his large body. Lugman's body is so terribly obese that it is difficult to even penetrate enough fat to strike any vital organs. Also, Slug has mastered the rather grotesque talent of suffocating opponents in the folds of his flesh. Eh,
Oh man.
I want that image in your head because I have to look at an image of him actually doing it. There's literally a guy, he's on the phone, and there's some guy stuck in his fold and he's suffocating.
That's wild.
This guy is like, he makes the blob look thin. Honestly,
Oh,
if you didn't know better, if I sent a picture of him, you would say, "Oh, that's the Blob."
I probably would.
So he's also a gifted intellect. So he possesses a gifted level of intelligence. And one of his biggest weaknesses is, shockingly, he's practically helpless against any of his opponents because he can't move that well.
I was gonna say they'll just walk away from him.
Yeah. One of the big things too is his modes of transportation are normally wheelchairs, normally heavy duty designed, and they're normally filled with very specific like terrain boosters, so like rocket boosters, all-terrain wheels, things of that nature, which I thought to be also funny. Some of the interpretations of his vehicle have literally been like a trailer
Oh, I mean, hey,
because he's so
what
big.
what works?
Correct. So the power grid, as always, is out of 7. So his intelligence is a.
Sorry.
Okay, I thought that was somebody calling me. I apologize.
No, no,
That,
that's
yeah.
that's the dog.
So anyway, the intelligence is a 4 out of 7, which is gifted. His strength is a 1 because he's weak. His speed is a 1 normally because it's below normal. However, with his chair, he's considered to be normal speed, which makes sense. His durability is what threw me off because it's technically only a 3 because it's enhanced. Because all that's protecting him is fat, and he still can get cut up, but it takes a lot to actually kill him because you have to dig through all the fat. Energy projection is a 1 because it's none, and fighting skills is a 1 because he has the ability to just lap his fat over your face and suffocate you. One of the big things too is it's unclear if this is going to be comic book accurate. Um, Slug, because one of the big things too is this is a character that's not well known,
Hmm.
and they could be going a very different route with Slug. I mean, it's already being portrayed by a drag queen, so I'm very curious at how they're going to do it.
We'll have to see. I mean,
I mean, I to me it doesn't matter because Slug is so unknown that I don't think it would matter.
I agree, but we know how the world is right now.
No, that's fair. And I think the other thing too is it's like there can be many different ways, as Mike has kind of given us a hint of. Slug can mean many things.
Yeah.
You can get it from a lot of different things. But one thing I will say is apparently he has a lot of involvement with the Hood, which is something I would never have guessed, but makes sense on why he's going to be in, or they are going to be in um, Ironheart because of the Hood.
Yeah. At least that could be tied together. Well,
Correct, which I also find to be funny. Also, quick thing, I wanted to do the guy that was next to Riri and the Hood. You know, the other guy.
mm,
He's just known as the cousin right now, so we know nothing about him.
okay.
So he's the cousin of supposedly he's the cousin of the Hood, and that's all we know about him.
And that could mean anything in terms of like actual cousin or like a code name cousin.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
so and there Marvel is keeping that a secret, which makes me think either one of two things: it's a brand new character, or it's a big plot point that they're going to keep a secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's going to be it for my character spotlight. I thought it was interesting because there's no way they're going to be doing. I can't imagine them doing a fully comic book accurate slug.
Yeah, that not in today's time. That would not go over well.
No, and I kind of agreed to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that makes sense to me. Um, but we'll see. We don't know what we're gonna get. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I kind of agree with Mike. I don't think they're gonna go the obese route.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that not accepted in today's world.
To be politically correct, I feel like it has to do with a gun. Like meaning like they get their name because of how good they are with a gun, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's my assumption. But anyway, so for next week, we're going to be talking about the second book in the Thrawn Ascension series, trilogy, I should say, um,
Ascendancy.
Ascendancy. And we'll talk about any trailers that come out and a character spotlight from Mike. So for now, if you made this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out with the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night.